Hello again. I am Anna Imagination, and I am here to continue talking more about the um, COVID series. This is the how to overcome your COVID-induced anxiety that a lot of us are currently dealing with now. In my first videos, there were 4 of them that I released. And in my first 4 videos that I just released, I start introducing fear, anxiety, that anxiety is a consequence. Please, if you have not seen them, go back. On a personal note, I just need to say I'm playing around with tech because all of my tech supplies are upstate. I live in New York City, and my uber awesome speaker, my uber awesome webcam are all located 3 hours away. So, I don't know where to look. That's my whole point. Like, I want to look here, but I can see that maybe I think the camera's there. I think that's the camera there. So I have to stare like it's green screen and I'm an actor. I have to stare at this weird black bar to make eye contact with you. So I'm going to try that. And every time I shift my eyes to see, is it working? I can't see it. So we're going to get right into it. So pardon my really crappy tech. Okay. I promise it will get better. So that all being said, the part I want to talk about with the anxiety and the fear today specifically is that process of how we go to our comfort zones. I've talked before on comfort zones. I have a video up on comfort zone, but it was it was a very tight schedule that I was on when I delivered that for personal reasons. So that being said, I want to elaborate on comfort zones. In my last video session, I mentioned that there was 2 parts to this. There was the comfort zone and then there was comfort itself. So self-comfort is something that we do want. It's something we do need. It's part of your self-care regimen. And if you don't have a self-care regimen, we need to talk because everybody needs a self-care regimen. Self-care regimen is a huge part of self-care, and it's so dire to mental health and a wellness journey if you're going to undertake one, especially if you're going to undergo trauma, shadow work at all. You really, really need comfort like that self-care regimen. Again, that's going to be another video. So for now, we're going to talk about comfort versus the comfort zone. That is the name of this video. The comfort zone is a safe haven. It's where you put yourself for a prolonged period of time, and it's basically an entire recluse. It is not to be mistaken with comfort itself. Comfort itself is something like comfort food. It's maybe you want to listen to a song or take a bubble bath. That is comfort, and that is self-soothing, and that is a huge part of mental health and taking care of your anxiety, taking care of your stress, and doing stress management. That is something you absolutely need. However, comfort zone is a whole nother concept where it's the place we run to, and it's the place we escape where it's kind of weird, but in this case, it's literally where I'm sitting right now. It's my nest. And I am actually not allowed to be here more than 3 days because I have all the makings to sink into my comfort zone and then not get out of it. So I have a 3-day limit of once I've hit 3 days, I have to leave. I have to go do something to get me out of my comfort zone, or else my mental health declines, and that's when it starts to get harder to get out. So people think that a comfort zone is comfort, and it's more of comfort is a one-on-one, it's a 5-minute activity, maybe it's a 30-minute activity. We might even take comfort days where we do like spa days or self-love days, or maybe we grab a tub of ice cream and we watch TV on the couch. Don't do that. Don't touch ice cream, especially when you're stressed. It's evil. That all being said, comfort zone is when you surround your entire environment in nothing but comfort, and you don't allow any discomfort ever to come into your comfort zone. And that is where it gets toxic, and I will explain why. We are hardwired. Everything in our bodies, everything that lives, plants do this, animals do this, every living thing does this. Life is an expending of energy. That's it. It's an expending of energy. And our bodies are wired, our plants do this, our animals do this, to to create energy. So we have this exude energy, give out energy, and create energy. This exchange where you're creating energy and you're spending energy is hardwired in all of us. And if there is a shortcut to preserve energy so we spend less, we do it. Our brains are hardwired to do it. Everything we do is hardwired to do this. If you put a plant in a window and it swells, and it grows towards the light, it's not actually growing toward the light. The cells are swelling, and that's because it's taking in more energy because it found a cost-effective way to burn less energy. That is really important to all of this, especially comfort zones. This is what drives a comfort zone. So that when you are taking a test, when you're sleeping, if a woman is pregnant, there are going to be things that our body does to cheat and make sure that we preserve energy and spend less. It is always the easy way out, or our bodies and our brains and our subconscious, especially our subconscious, is hardwired to always go the easy way out because it is driven by the preserve energy because it takes so much to create energy. So what happens in the area of the comfort zone is our subconscious basically turns on and says to preserve energy and to spend as little energy as possible on Project X, we're going to eliminate all and any discomfort. We are hardwired so deep in us to avoid discomfort because discomfort spends energy. It's that simple. Discomfort spends energy. So if you're not aware of this and if you're not conscious of this, and so many people are not conscious of this, we end up shutting down and going into a place to preserve energy. And we do this so many times. We do it when we binge Netflix. Our weight does it. Weight loss is completely built off of this concept. More specifically, weight gain is built off of this concept where the body is going, oh, I have to preserve energy. You're making energy. I've got to preserve it. So it goes into weight gain. Every part of what we do is based off of this exchange of what it costs to create energy and what it costs to spend energy and how to preserve as much as possible. So we have to be aware and kind of do a hack where we get around this obstacle. And subconsciously, when you are dealing with comfort, that is exactly what's going on. We don't want to feel uncomfortable because that spends energy. So when you decide consciously to avoid comfort, to avoid comfort, you are consciously putting yourself in a situation to spend more energy. But when you do that, you grow. That is where growth exists. When an athlete decides to improve, he is spending a lot of energy, but he's growing. You can't grow if you're in a comfort zone. And that is the toxic demise of a comfort zone, is comfort helps you heal. But people who thrive, who seek out comfort zones, thinking that it's where they need to be to heal, that's where you stop growing. And that's where you start to create an environment where you become stunted and you don't push yourself to the next level. And that is the danger. That is the absolute imperative danger of comfort zones, is you are putting yourself in a place where you feel good, you're content, you have no problems, you think you're in a good place because it feels good. And your body goes, hey, we're not spending any energy. This is fantastic. Let's shut down. But what's really going on is you are now creating a place where you are not going to grow. Because in order to grow, you have to confront fear. And that's really uncomfortable. To grow, you have to address your anxiety and your problems. And that's really uncomfortable. So our lives are really about comfort and discomfort. That's it. That's really all that this is about. And we really go to great lengths to avoid discomfort. So understanding that comfort is self-soothing and it's something you do over here, that's great. That we do need, especially if we're trying to manage our stress. But if you are constantly in an environment where you are not allowing any discomfort to come into you, that's a whole nother problem. And that's where you're looking at growth not taking place. That's where you're looking at fear starts to nurture, because our imaginations start to develop every time we think, should I leave the house today? Should I get out? And suddenly you're not. So in the case of COVID, and I'm going to bring this back to the whole purpose of this video, this series, what this means for COVID is we first ran to our safe spaces, or the government forced us there, and that's where we stayed for almost 2 years, where we were very much in a place with a comfort zone. And we had a very realistic fear out there that nurtured that. And we're going, oh, well, I need comfort. Comfort is good for me. Do not mistake comfort and self-soothing with comfort zone. It is not the same thing, not at all. It is imperative that you get things, that you challenge yourself, that you push yourself to do uncomfortable things. In fact, this is where I'm going to have videos later where I teach you how to use your emotions to identify where you need to go next. It's really, really interesting. And there's no other way for it. That is exactly it. Your emotions are a fantastic tool to teach you where you need to go next. Oh, that's where you're scared, or that's where you need to dive into something because you're afraid or you're uncomfortable. That's where you need to go. And I will be going over how to do that later. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I think I pretty much covered everything that I wanted to on this particular niche of comfort zones versus comfort. Of course, as always, please like, love, share, subscribe. I have my newsletter. This is part of a Project Imagination series that I'm working on that I sell for my life coaching business. I have a website, www.angelabchrysler.com. All of my links are down there. My Twitters, my LinkedIn. I post articles on this, and I do one-on-one coaching if you are looking to get some help to get out of your comfort zone, to anything to enable fear or to overcome your fear and your anxiety. Again, thank you so much for your time. May the kindest of words always find you.